Hi guys, GOC28 here, bringing to you the second cube video. This is going to be the blue cards, my favorite color. Old school Magic blue was pretty powerful back in the day, so let's go through it. First one's Ancestral Vision. It's drawing cards, basically like Ancestral Recall, but it has a suspend on it. Pretty cool. Pack Navigations, like a new Avert Force of Will that you have to pay the 5 for. You guys must have seen this guy, Clown Gold Ranger with Evolve. Delver, gotta have Delver. Another card. Level Up, Enclave. Cryptologist. Brainstorm, classic instant draw and discard. Mystical Tutor from Mirage. Instant or sorcery looking for. Ponder for filtering and drawing cards to dig through your deck. Prosperity, everyone draws X cards. It's good for when you're playing Emperor or Rogue. Silent Departure, returning a creature to his hand, but it's with flashback, so it's a little bit better than unsummon, I guess. Then again, it is a sorcery, so maybe not. Spell Pierce, countering target non-creature spell unless they pay 2. Divert, changing the target of a spell unless they pay 2 for 1. Rapid Hybridization. It's a removal for blue, which is rare, so it should be added in. Augur Bolus. Ezra Mage. Gilded Drake. It's one of the staples, I think, in Legacy right now. It's let you take their big fatty. Fog Bank keeps you alive, doesn't receive combat damage. Phantasmal Image. Copying creature for 2. Good old Snapcaster. This is a bounce on a stick, which is kind of nice. Turns anything into an summon. Arcane Denial from Alliances. It counters a spell, and they get to draw 2, and you get to draw 1. So, you know, gets rid of the spell and let you go through your deck. Classic counter spell. Cyclonic Rift was also another bounce, but has an overload. Daze, a counter spell, you can return an island to your hand unless they pay 1. Power Sink, an X counter spell and drains their mana pool and taps their lands. Mana Leak, countering the spell unless they pay 3. Memory Lapse, this counter spell puts it on top of their own library for 2, so it really like slows them down. Miscalculation, Urza's Legacy. Countering the spell unless they pay 2. It's like a worse Mana Leak. Boomerang, returning a permanent to one's hand for 2. Copy Artifact, another classic card here. There's so many powerful artifacts. Oh, I love this guy. Mana Drain. One of my favorite cards of all time. Just unbelievable. You counter this spell in the beginning of your next main phase. You add X to your mana pool, where X is the casting cost of target spell. It's actually from Legends. It's worth a lot now. I think when I was playing it was like 20 and then it went up to 30 towards the end. Such an awesome card. Everyone loves this guy. Kara, the Great Glass Spinner. Temporal Add Up. It's basically like a boomerang on a stick for 3, tapping 3 to return target permanent to one's hand. This is from Urza's Destiny. Pestermite, taps guy with flash and a creature. Seagate Oracle. This guy is he's basically kind of like you're digging through, but only 2. Tandem Lookout is a soul bond that you can draw cards. Trinket Maid returns an artifact with casting cost 1. Oh, search your library for an artifact with casting cost 1 or less and put it in your hand. Urtai, I had to put this guy in. He's a walking counterspell basically for 4, so it's a little expensive, but you know, he was so big. This is from Exodus actually, but he was big in the story. Vendilion Click, everyone knows this guy. He's a modern staple currently. Capsize is a buyback for turn permanent to owner's hand. Show and Tell, this is a legacy staple right now, basically putting out big fatties such as I don't know, Emrakul and some of the Eldrazi. Exclude, counters target creature spell, but you have to draw a card, so get you going. Forbid is a counter spell for 3, but you get to buy back it by choosing discarding 2 cards if you really need it. Propaganda is protection, so in case they want to attack you, they have to pay 2 for each attacking creature. Jace Beleren. There's one of the many Jaces, and so many Jaces in blue now, so drawing a card, target player draws a card, and exile top 20. Repulse, return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. Thirst for Knowledge, drawing 3 cards, discarding 2, unless you discard an artifact, not bad. Tinker, another classic card here from Urza's Legacy. You sack an artifact, and you search your life for any artifact, because it can be big fatties, such as the, there's a Infect guy that people use a lot with this guy, at least in our group. Windfall, I think this one might be restricted or banned, along with Tinker. But as everyone discards their hand and draws 7 new cards, so if you don't have that many cards, you can gain cards back, so an advantage. Mana Shard, I used to love playing this guy. All opponents lands are tapped and opponent's mana pool is emptied, opponents take no damage for unspent mana. So before there used to be mana burn. So if you had mana pool that you didn't use, you burn and take damage, but that's not the case anymore. But this is an instant you could tap them during like a specific phase, like untap, upkeep, or either upkeep or draw step. Ninja of the Deep Hours. I didn't play when this guy came out, but he seems really cool when he does combat damage. You can draw a card, but you can play 2 of the ninjutsu and put him into play and return the guy that you're attacking with to his own hand. Dungeon Geist here. You guys have seen this. Glenn Eldra Archmage, another modern guy. You'll see him a lot in the pod decks. Mist Raven enters the battlefield, return target creature to his hand. You can get a guy back if you need to. Friction Metafolk, another copy type guy. Sakashima Student, awesome guy. He comes in and plays a copy of something, and you can use that ninjutsu ability. Control Magic, another classic card here. This guy, you just take control of a creature. So you enchant creature, and then you get control of them, kind of like a lot of other different cards. Cryptic Command, great, awesome, powerful card. I wasn't around when this guy came out either, but I've been playing with him a little bit in Modern. And you get to choose to counter target spell, return target permanent to its own hand, tap all creatures your opponent's control, or draw a card. So you're just so versatile. You can stall for a turn and get a con advantage. You can counter spell again card, or return somebody to their hand. Oh, awesome card. Next is Deep Analysis. This is 4 for drawing 2, but you can flashback for 2 blue and 3 life to draw another couple cards. Pretty good reusability. Dismiss, counter target spell and drawing a card. Another classic. This thing is from Tempest, so an old guy. Fact of Fiction, everyone knows this guy. Oh, along with Jace, Architect of Thought. Jace, Architect of Thought. And he has kind of the Fact of Fiction ability too. And of course, he's a Mind Sculptor. Opposition. This guy's an awesome card. Tap an untapped creature you control. Tap target land, artifact, or creature. So you can just really get control of them. People hate this card, especially if you're playing in like a group or Rogue or something. It's pretty funny. Gifts Ungiven. It's another modern staple that people are using a lot now. Right of Replication. I first saw this in the Duel of the Planeswalker game. That was pretty ridiculous, but if the game can go long, especially in a group, you can put just so many permanents on the field. Get a lot of advantage. Parallax Tide. I have the full Parallax cycle, I guess. This one, this removes target land from the game. So it's fading 5, so you remove a counter from it each turn. It comes with 5 counters. And during your upkeep, you have to remove one also. Vesuvian Doppelganger. Oh, this card is so awesome. Basically, when you cast it, it becomes a copy of something. During your upkeep, you can choose to have it be another copy of something else. This is just a classic card. It's one of the few cards I remember playing when I first started out. That just seemed cool, and it's from Revised here and all those old sets. Maloku, Clouder. I don't have to talk about that too much. Muldrifter. Some of these cards are from Modern Masters here. Sphinx of the Lost Truths. Comes in play and drawing 3 cards, so it gives you some card advantage. Teferi, Mage of Zephyr. I'm not sure if that's how to pronounce that, but he's a 3/4 for 5. He has flash, and creature cards you own that aren't in play have flash. Each opponent can play spells only time you can play sorcery, so you could do whatever you want, and they can only do stuff during their turn. So it's pretty cool, and he's an iconic guy from the story, from what I used to remember. Morphlings, classic card. I know they have the new Aetherling now, but he was just such an awesome guy who can, basically has so much versatility. You can pop him up to do damage. You can build up his defense to block. You can protect him by basically becoming hexproof, or he gains flying for evasion, or untap him if you need to. Great. Bribery. I wish I had the Mercanian Mass versions, but I currently do not. This is from the 8th edition, but you search through your opponent's library for a creature card and put that into play under your control. Just awesome guy. Future Sight here. That's you guys probably seen this from the video game also, but you play with the top card of your library revealed, and you may play that card as though it was in your hand. Tamiyo. Time Warp Tempest. So one of the cards I've never had any of the Power 9, but just taking extra turns is obviously really powerful. And never had Time Walk for 2, but this is basically the closest I could get. It's for 5 for Time Walk. I think Tempest is from. Treachery, awesome card. 3 and 2 blue, so it's 5. When it comes into play, you untap 5 lands. So it's basically free if you have the 5 lands. And if you have like lands that can produce multiple mana, you can tap them and untap it to drain them into your mana pool, and you control enchanted creature. This guy is awesome. Jace Memory Adept, Misdirection. This is kind of similar to like a counterspell, or not a counterspell, but you can change a single target to another target instead. But if you don't have the mana to pay the 5, which is kind of expensive, you can remove a blue card in your hand from the game instead of paying the mana cost. So kind of like a Force of Will type things. And speaking of Force of Will from Alliances, it's 3 and 2 blue. When you pay 1 life and remove a blue card in your hand from the game, you can counter target spell. But so you know, no one really pays the 5. You just remove a blue card and pay the life. But you use it when you're tapped out and they're waiting to drop that bomb, and then when they do, you get them. Aetherling, this is the new guy, new Morphling, Consecrated Sphinx. And that's whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2, so you get a lot of advantage. Trade Wind Rider. This guy's from Tempest. He's a 1/4 flying for 4. Tap 2 creatures you control, return target permanent to his owner's hand. This card can get ridiculous, especially if you have a lot of permanents out. You start bouncing everything, so they're paying a lot of mana to bring stuff out, and just bouncing the stuff they have. Frost Titan, I have all the Titans, the whole Titan cycle in this cube. Kega, the Tide Star, same thing with all the dragons. Arcanist, the Omnipotent. It's 3 blue and 3. It's a 3/4. You tap to draw 3 cards. If you have to bounce them, you can. You can pay 2 blue and 2 colorless. Return Arcanist Omnipotent to its owner's hand. Upheaval, return all permanents to the owner's hands. One of those cards you can use if they have like hexproof or something like that. It's just global targeting or basically restarting, making them restart. Speaking of a restart, Time Spiral. It's you remove Time Spiral from the game, but when you play it's for 4 colors and 2 blue. Each player shuffles his or her graveyard and hand into her library to draw 7 new cards. You untap 6 lands, so you basically like restart your turn. So you get 7 cards and you get to untap the 6 land you paid for it. So this guy's awesome at restarting. Another untapping guy, that was from Urza's Saga here. This is from Urza's Legacy. It's Palinchron. It's a 4/5 flying for 7. But when he comes into play, you untap the 7 lands. So once again, you can, if you have a land that produces more than 1 mana, you can get a lot of advantage. Finally, we have Inkwell Leviathan. So he's a 7 colors, 2 blue for 7/11. Island Walk, Trample, Shroud, so he can protect himself quite nicely. So that's what I have for the blue cube. I actually haven't really added the new stuff yet, but let's see, what's it? Master of Waves may go in. Yeah, definitely the gods are all going to be going in. You know, Thassa, Porphyros, Heliod, Erebos, and Nylea. And the Planeswalker is also going to go in, the new Xenagos and Ashiok, along with Elspeth, but I haven't added those guys in yet. But guys, thanks for watching. And